Yeah.
So hi everyone, very warm welcome to this this conversation on ICF PCC Journey. This is something that we do with every batch. It's also an opportunity for the prospective learner coaches for PCC like to refresh, reconnect, and also understand why they need to do this. That's one of the reasons. It also helps us to ground. We keep doing ACC batch. So PCC batch is exclusive, very curated, once in 2 years. So, a lot more hard work for us, for all of us, Rekha, me, and also the rest of the team, including Sonia, Karan, and others. So, is ICF PCC for you? Is a fundamental question that a lot of people have. I hope at the end of this conversation, that question will get answered to you, if not a lot more. Next slide. So for those of you who are here, I'll take a minute to, you can just go back. I'll take a minute to introduce. My name is Subash. I'm an MCC ICF, Senior Practitioner, EMCC, also an ICF ACTP Assistant for PCC. I come with 20 years of banking experience and last 10 years into coaching and 8 years into coach training and certification. Rekha, over to you. I know this is not really planned.
I don't know. Yeah. All right. So yeah, my name is Rekha and I am also an MCC coach. I was credentialed MCC in 2020. I am also a certified team coach and very recently a certified coach supervisor. So practically everything that is related to coaching, I have put my fingers into. Before coaching, I have a very long career graph of 30 odd years. So it's kind of not so relevant anymore. So no point. I'm not going to talk much about it, but yeah, in the software industry, engineering, HR, teaching, and now coaching. That's been my journey. Yeah, so
thank you, Rekha. Yeah. So So what is ICF PCC? The why of it. Also, just to set the context. If you're looking at coaching as a profession, if you want to practice as a professional coach, PCC would be of great help. We had a learner from Chennai, very early batch, who was a CHRO, started coach training. So CHRO auxiliary alum, he thought he was already a coach. So in the first stage, that thing was broken assumption. And after ACC, he continued with PCC. So I'm quoting, I'm not taking the name here, but he said professional coaches should have a PCC. There's something that is go beyond ACC framework that will help the coaches to really shine. So one, it is very, very useful. It's not necessary. Nothing here is carved on stone. We are not saying this is right or wrong, but we are just sharing our perspective. I strongly feel if you want to become a professional coach, PCC would be of great help. Whether both Rekha and I, we went to PCC directly. MCC was a journey. I know we came in much later. The process of coaching, ICF, as you all know, all of you are trained for ACC. This fantastic process that ICF has come up with, they keep refining every 5 years. I don't need to evangelize it here. It has to be a personal development journey. ACC can, once in a way, people do look at it as certification. If you're an agile coach, if you're you're very experienced, you're already into other areas. There are some friends here who are experienced in other areas. They also want to add this framework, this certification, this credibility. It is useful. But at PCC level, it has to be a lot about you. And last but not the least, ACC, if I have to make a distinction between ACC, PCC, ACC is still a process and the science of coaching. But at PCC, it has to be the art of coaching. Nothing less than the art. You stay within the, I'm an ACTP assessor. You do a good Six Sigma tick of competency framework. That is not enough, because we look for partnering at a PCC level for sure. And PCC marker is a guideline for us. So that's what, at a helicopter view of what an ICF PCC is. Next one. Rekha, please do come in if you want to at any point, anything to add.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of add on to what you said about the previous slide, Subash. Because I think these are all four very important nuances that differentiate ACC from PCC, right?
Yes.
That it's a personal development journey, and it shows up when you're talking about 100 hours to 500 hours. You're talking about 5 times the journey that is needed. And if there's no personal transformation that happens, then it shows up in the quality of coaching. One. Second thing is, because we are talking about art of coaching and because we are talking about coaching at a much deeper level, the quality of coaching that is delivered to clients is way higher when we're talking about PCC, and that shows up then, then the organizations take note of it, people take note of it, and then it shows up in the kind of work that you get also. So it's not just the stamp or it's not just the credential, it's the whole work that goes behind it that makes the difference.
Yes, thank you for that. Now, what are the requirements for PCC? I know all of you are trained in ACC. So this is additional if you already completed ACC level requirements. So this is additional to ACC here. So 60 hours plus 65 hours of training, additional 10 hours of mentoring, plus 400 hours of practice that Rekha just mentioned. So 100 plus 400 makes it minimum 500 hours of practice. And 202 coaching recordings for ICF. For an ACC, most of you are familiar. You need to submit only one recording for ICF, evaluation. But for PCC, you have to do both. Plus, very important. What also sets us apart is, apart from the practice, apart from Rekha and I run these programs, so we are going to be mentors not only during the journey, even after the journey, with a lot of asynchronous assignments that is integral to deepening the learning. And those of you who are ACC alumni, it is different from ACC. It's less, it is very less even at ACC, the book reviews and the coaching models and other stuff. Here it is still lesser, but it is deeper. You evaluate somebody's recording. We have specifically chosen a particular recording. You do a very detailed transaction analysis assignment. We do, of course, you have to submit 2 recordings also for us. So apart from 2 for ICF, it's also 2 for us. Those are all the asynchronous assignments. Next slide. If you're going directly to PCC, I know somebody's here. A couple of you are here looking at PCC directly. So the cumulative is 125 hours of training, 20 hours of mentoring, 500 hours of practice, additional to coaching recordings, apart from one, and you only submit these 2. Sorry, there's no addition, just these 2 recordings, and all the assignments of combined ACC level and PCC level. So the asynchronous assignment is a bit, So that's anyway. You take almost 2 years to complete your 500 hours of practice, even if you're focusing it. That's a good time for you to complete the assignments. If you have, I'll run through these slides. I'm sure you'll have some questions on this. We can always come back. I'm also, mindful of my connectivity, which is patchy. It seems to be doing fine. So we'll just run through this quickly and we'll come back. We have budgeted enough time for Q&A. Yeah, next slide. Now, there are a number of course training institutes out there. Why Regal? This was a very important choice that you have to make. For me, the primary reason that, I would have started with saying that you have Rekha and me here as your mentors. But for me, that is still second. The first one is still, of course, it is ICF approved program for sure. But it is the vibrant alumni community, something that it is still evolving over the last 8 years. But, we do have one of the best in that category among all the other institutes. We do invest a lot of time, effort to nurture this community. And it is all just not at Regal Unlimited, it's all by every alumni. So it's as much give as much as it is take. On the other side, training to coach from a state of being. So when we say that, ACC is still a process, binary or so, PCC is at a deeper level, this is what it is. You're truly going into the realm of art. You're also going from the process to the art. And also you're going to coach from a state of being. This might sound very high level at this stage. It is meant to be like that. So at a PCC level, some of our alumni are here. All of you are, are already coaching at a low PCC, because we take you through the PCC markers in the second leg of your journey. So naturally, you're already at a low PCC level. We kind of make it concrete and take it to the next level. Our aim is to leave you at a mastery. And as MCC coaches, both Rekha and me, that's our effort. We want to leave it at that stage. That is not possible unless you also take responsibility for the self-transformation that we saw in the previous slide. We call it deep work or self-work. So unless you focus on that, you can't master the art. It will still be a science in the process. It is good enough to make an impact, but you are then not coaching at your potential. So everyone who is making choice this, you are also committing not only to lifelong learning and growing, which is what coach training is about, coaching is about, but also some commitment to deep work. That's what will make you a great coach. Now, here I always quote Marcia Reynolds, whose popular quote on mastering coaching. She said, "It's not about upskilling; it's about deepening presence." So, deepening presence cannot be guaranteed by pure competency framework. It's what you do as part of the deep work. And both Rekha and I have our own style. We are chasing different things to master that. Like Rekha has gone into supervision and EMCC team coaching. I've gone into ICF team coaching, and a bit of spirituality. So and of course ICTP training. So the combined is what you get as something truly very powerful. What we bring into the table together. And last but not the least, this is again my area of interest. I've handled P&L and business for 18 out of my 21 years of corporate experience. And again, I'm still not the expert. There are some experts, some friends. Kabir is here. Nasser is somebody who comes in and facilitates that session. So, a common friend who's a PCC through us. So there's some amount of focus on brand and business. This is especially useful if you're going to be a professional coach. And we are still learning, we are still making mistakes. But our team is here, Karan, especially is at the forefront. We are still experimenting a lot. We are still very comfortable on the journey of figuring out the branding and the business side of coaching, because nobody has cracked that code globally. That much I can say with a lot of conviction. So we are also in the process of, and your learning curve will be much shorter thanks to a collective experience. And we get some experts in each of these fields to come and facilitate. Yeah. So it is truly a transformational journey for every coach who is on the PCC level. So commit to that bit also when you choose to go into that realm of certification and credentials.
Subash, I want to just add on something just came to my mind about this access to the community of 300 coaches. I want to share from my own experience of having it and not having it and what difference that makes, right? So I remember my PCC journey where you remember that you were the mentor, one of the mentors, right? And there were just two of us learners there, and we had a really tough time managing our 500 hours. I mean, I remember that we almost started hating each other because we didn't know what is it that we could bring to him. We got fed up and bored of each other and coaching each other, So having 300 plus coaches is a tremendous, it's not a small thing at all. It's a big thing. Also, it is not just about practicing. It's about this set of coaches hold a space, which I think is so important, because that's the kind of community I got when I went into my coach supervision. And I realized how important it is to be working with a community that speaks the same language and that holds the ethics and the principles of coaching, and where you can express yourself in, in trust and safety. I don't think that kind of an environment is available when we are coaching clients outside, where we are constantly being watched by our clients, right? We are all under watch when we are coaching.
Yes.
So working with the community is a different level of safety and trust and self-expression. I feel so it's extremely important to have this kind of a community to work with. Yeah.
So this again, we all are aware of the destination and the journey, right? So the point that Rekha said about the community is very critically, important for you to evolve as a coach. That's why the company is important. And again, we want to really build on this, and it's a collective. Yeah. Next one. Yeah, this is another thing that we are very, very particular. I mean, if you ask us, reckon me, what differentiates us, if you have to give one word, then it is practice. Because, both Rekha and I are not a typical trainer or HR person. We come with diverse background, experience, managed business, managed diverse roles. Rekha has also done HR, been an entrepreneur, has also taught at business school, apart from her, TA and also landmark forums. Multiple areas of interest and expertise. But then, we are not that, run-of-the-mill coach who's just got a one fine morning and decided that, I'll be a coach. And what we bring in that is, our focus on practice. And both of us are, very, very committed to the ICF framework. Not because we are ICF mentors, because we feel it's a very well-researched, every word, every full stop comma is taken through. So there is no need to reinvent the wheel. So Six Sigma complements to the framework in letter and spirit, also both as a practice, as a science, and also the art, not just the science. So all these elements are brought into as you move from 100 hours of practice, which most of you would have done here, those who have done your ACC level journey, and then you move into the PCC level. So practice is is also part of the mail that Sonia would have sent to you if you got a mail. Yeah. So there's an extra focus on practice. Yeah. Next one.
Subash, I also want to talk about the knowledge bit a bit. So ICF is now talking about going beyond training, and is also talking about coach education. So that is where ICF is heading now as a vision. So it's not only about building skills, it's also about getting to know the theories underlying these competencies, which is the core basic framework that ICF has. And so what is differentiating us is the kind of knowledge dissemination and the kind of theoretical perspectives that we bring in the PCC journey, which you will not find during ACC. So PCC therefore is a much more expanded journey where we are talking about theory, knowledge, as well as practice.
Thank you. Yeah. Next one. Yeah, I think this slide speaks for itself. The support to finish the game. We ICF treats coaches as adults. Those of you are already on the journey are aware of this. We also try to do it, but at the same time, we're also aware of the cultural nuances. I think learners in India, from India, even overseas, we do have a PCC learner in a community. Yeah, thanks, Pallavi. So we do have a community. Now there is some extra amount of nudge support going beyond what is obvious, right? So we are very particular that the journey is important, the community is important. We are also very particular. You're investing time, effort, energy, and money into it. So also we want you to complete the journey. Yeah. So this is a beautiful slide which captures what we truly want to do. It's also a reminder for us. And this famous African proverb, it takes an entire village to educate a child. That's why the ecosystem that we are trying to be part of, not just our own alumni, even the local chapters and other global, boards and other stuff. We all are leveraging that so that it supports you to make this transition. And those of you who are ACC from us, we are also setting in a collective intent. Because we are not just going to make a transition as ACC plus now. This has to be an orbit shifting jump, actually, like a spacecraft. So it's just not ACC, but much deeper and much bigger. And even if you are Pallavi is here, a corporate trainer, ACC already. If you choose to do this, it will deepen your practice, deepen you as a person. It has to happen that for every one of us here. So to that extent, it becomes very critical. Yeah. Next one.
So Subash, if I can add there,
yes.
Like I remember because you're talking about nudge to finish the game. So many of us in the webinar are actually our ACC learners and maybe coaches. we know that we have certain programs like Coach Buddy program, where we partner you with a coach so that you can get that extra nudge. Not only that, I have seen how much of assistance the community gives when it comes to filling up a ICF form, application form, and I mean, I because I am witness to it, I can speak on that. The assistance required for completing CKA, the resources just flood in. Okay, I prepared this is a 7 pager from my side, this is a 10 pager from my side, also ICF notes, right? That is the nudge which each of us as part of the community provide to to the person who wants to finish the game, intention to finish the game. That's a Regal support. And I can say it with a lot of confidence that any of us are available on call. Like, I have got call, somebody who was in CK and he calls and telling the server is going off, right? So I was like, okay, wait, let me do something. Though I cannot do anything, but that support, that emotional support, there is someone whom I can call to in case something happens, and that support to finish the game is definitely given. So I just got reminded of this when I saw the this image. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I got a call once, Karan,
Thanks,
when I was
Karan.
in the mall, shopping, saying I'm doing my CK and it is stuck and I don't know what to do. So that's the kind of freedom we give, right? To people.
Yes. Yeah. So we go the extra mile. We are also committing online, saying that we are not just looking at the co-curriculum and peripheral adults, but also much beyond that. And it's a stated objective that we are creating extraordinary coaches here. We've been doing it for the last 8+ years as training, 10 years as a company. So we are committed to that cause. Yeah. Next one. So this, Karan was talking about some of the other initiatives. This is one of them, which we did recently as part of a 10-year celebration. So, we got this external expert to do a workshop for 3 hours, just to give you some perspective on how to define ROI. Because setting goals is critical to coaching, not only in engagement, but every conversation. Many of you are here aware. So we said we will link it to ROI. So we do that. This is just one example of some of the stuff that we do. We also do almost monthly Muse Art, where it's more an alumni-only event, where we again get experts. We've had people who was doing digital marketing for us at Regal to come and share her perspective. She's an MBA, and she had been with us for 3 years, so she could give the perspective of an external expert. We had somebody who manages reputation management, an ex-CRISIL leader. She came and spoke about, reputation is very critical to what coaches do. So this is some of the other additional stuff that we do for the community. Next one. Yeah, this is, we just celebrated our 10 years of incorporation on 12/12. We the team titled it as Jason Regal, and they're just happy to share that with you. We are 10 years young. Yeah. Next one. Yeah. So, am I cut out for PCC? I mean, if it's part of the questions as answered. Again, one thing that we are constantly trying to do is we are not trying to sell PCC program here, but if it resonates with you, if you have questions, we are willing to partner. Because we feel that you can't sell coaching, nor can we sell coach training. We don't want to do that. We want to tap into, once you make a decision, you have concerns, we are happy to answer it now or even later. Yeah. All these creatives are self-explanatory, so I'm not even attempting to explain. Yeah, the next one. So, I hope Mani is here, Subramani is here. Subramani is someone who did his ACC through us, comes from Bombay, is been a banker, has what is the host try to make him transition to the speaker, and then he did his ACC, did that journey very well, very committed learner. Now he's just recently completed his PCC leg. The latest learner coach to get the completion certificate from us. So we invited him over, saying that why don't you come and share, for a couple of minutes what has been his journey. And we are not in the spirit of coaching. You're not told him what to tell, what not to tell. The floor is over to you, Mani. If you can, yeah, you have been assigned.
Hey, Subash, hi, Rekha.
Hi.
Look, I'm glad to see you all. Thanks for inviting me here. So I don't know, I was just, out of curiosity, I was just going through what is PCC about, even though I've completed those 500 hours. But good to know where you started from almost a year and a half back. So something which Subash was talking about, I think he said a lot of things, and most of the people here would know about mentoring, how good Subash and Rekha are in terms of, giving their perspective and feedback, the support system. But two things which I want to specifically talk about, which kind of resonated with me strongly in my PCC journey, is one, the spirit of experimentation. And I remember in our first session, I think Rekha or Subash, one of them said, there is nothing we can teach you anymore. You already taught you what was to be taught in ACC. So I said, okay, now what then? So what are we going to do in those 65 hours? And I think that spirit of starting from, that space of seeking learning rather than giving something, I think that was a great start. And it gives a different perspective because you now starting again with a clean slate. So I think that, and I remember one conversation with Subash, and I've had lots of them with Subash and Rekha, where I keep pestering them in various conversations. They are very accessible. I mean, that's one thing which Karan also mentioned. The mentors are accessible, and whenever you talk to them, you are kind of more resourceful. I think that's something which I've always found. And you know, all those sparks flying, you have something new coming up. So one of the things which Subash said when I was starting on my PCC thing is that experiment. You figure out your own way of, how it works for you in a coaching session. So the competencies are there as a structure, right? And it's like the example which comes to my mind is when you learn swimming. When you are in initial classes, you are tied with the cork thing on the back so that you don't go down in water. So you just keep floating. So that's like ACC, right? You're still taking the support of those competencies and trying to stay afloat. PCC is like those corks are gone, and now how do you swim? Because you already know. You've seen the theory, you know it in practice. All you need to do is keep doing it, and that's how you take it more deeper. That has been one of the, in fact, questions in my mind always. What is deeper, really? It's easy to use that word, but what does it mean? And I have asked this question many times. How much deeper, or in what sense? I think something which I've realized in my PCC journey is how it slowly seeps in. You don't even realize. It's like you can keep intellectualizing it and saying that you have to go deeper, you have to practice presence listening. But the more you keep doing it, you start seeing it as part of your life. The way you interact with your family, the way you're talking to your team members, it's there. The kind of responses which come out. I think that's the journey from ACC to PCC. So like what Subash was talking about, work on self. I think PCC is more by choice. So if you're not choosing it, I don't think it happens really. ACC, I still feel can happen if you just want to do it even for credentials. But PCC doesn't happen if you don't choose to do it really. So it's all about really saying that I want to do this, and it's for me more than for anyone else. And it reflects out. Your clients see it, the way you talk to them, and how you hold the space for them, like what Rekha was mentioning about. See, the other thing which I feel what PCC did for me, especially with the team and the cohort we had, was the integration which came out. So ACC was like having those pieces, and how it all started coming together when I started doing PCC, in terms of people, the perspective they brought in, the unbiased way in which you started looking at what everyone is bringing to the table, even a client. What a client is talking, when we are doing ACC, there is so much happening in your mind because you're still thinking. And when you go to PCC, you start talking about just being there for the client. I think this whole journey and the support you get from mentors, the way, they I was seeing the chat and Rekha was talking about grizzly bear, but sometimes you need that, right? I think it, because you need, like my mentor used to say earlier, that, it's not a popularity contest. You have to tell what it is. And that's where the role of a mentor comes in very strongly. So big thank you, Regal team, for holding me throughout this journey from ACC and to PCC and hopefully beyond. Thank you so much for this space to say my heart.
Thanks, Manu. So I think that's the end of this slide presentation, what we want to tell. Yeah, so hi Niti, good to see you. Must be late evening for you. Yeah, there's something, I mean, this is a good slide after what Subramani said. The journey, we see it as a straight line, but it's a very rocky climb. But, that's where the community, the mentors and the support system all makes a lot of value and, very important for you. So yeah, the rocky climbs is what make you stronger. Yeah. So when is the right time to start ICF PCC? yeah. I think that says it all. Because I've had I've had some of our learner coaches who started before me, 2010, for example. Then they took a break or they did not complete, and then they've come back to us from somewhere else. Yeah. So unless there is some very real reason, it's good to start. This has an advantage of an early start for sure. Yeah.
Yes, we have some questions.
Yes.
Rekha has answered many of them in the Q&A. The questions will not be visible to everybody, I think. So we can tell the question and the answer also.
You want
pick
me
up
to
something first, as we.
Yeah. So the first one is Sanjay asked roughly how much time does it take for a learner to complete the PCC training? So the answer for that is training. The coach training part is 6 months. We can share the logistics. It's 3 hours every weekend. I think it's Wednesday, if I'm not wrong. Wednesday, 3 hours, 6 p.m. to 9
Every
p.m.
alternate Tuesday.
Every alternate Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that's the 6 months part. Then obviously the mentoring and the plus additional 400 hours in case you are ICF PCC already. If you are not, then ICF directly for ICF PCC plus 500 hours. That's the time a learner takes to complete the training and credentialing. The second question was from Niti Virmani. Do the recordings have to have video recording also? Would audio be enough? Also, there are client confidentialities. So how can one share recordings? Rekha answered it. It's only audio recordings which go to ICF. And there are very stringent ethics guidelines which are mandated by ICF. So all the coaches and related people, including those who transcribe, are bound by them. So there's no breach of confidentiality when you share the recording. Any other question which I missed and it's on the chat box?
No.
Okay, yeah. Something Niti is asking. Yeah. So Rekha, yeah, okay. So this would be over and above the number of hours the individual would have gone through as a part of work assignment. Yes, it is. So it's 65 hours of training, 10 hours of mentoring, and 500 hours of coaching practice if you're directly for the PCC. Subash, in case you're not able to see the chat box, Niti is telling hello, Subash, and I think she's visiting
Hi,
India.
Niti.
She's currently in. Even if one has gone through 500 hours of training, is one still required to go through 500 additional hours to get the certificate?
So there was some confusion, I think, over there. So the whole program is about 65 hours of training, which includes the assignments that are given to you to do, 10 hours of mentoring, and 500 hours of coaching, which we call as practice. So 500 hours is not training. Training is only 65 hours.
And this is only after your ACC?
Yeah, this is after ACC.
Okay, yeah, I think she understood. Yeah, thank you, Niti. Any other questions? You will please feel free to drop in Q&A or in the chat box. So I think, Subash, I will... okay, Pallavi is asking 500 hours.
Yes. So it is 100 plus 400.
It's the incremental 400 after ICF PCC. Subash, what I recall is the curriculum remains same, competencies remain same, right?
Yes.
What additional,
Yes.
Subash and Rekha, both of you, what additional info we are giving in PCC, ICF PCC, because the competencies remain the same?
So it is, to simple comparison I give is, it's like BSc and MSc. BSc chemistry, MSc chemistry, just go deeper. And even MCC, I compare it with a PhD. So the same set of competencies you do, deeper one. Second, especially for the ACC learners, even from our community, at an ACC level, though you are exposed to who exploration, a lot of what is accepted. For others, what is the story that the client bring in? The problem statement, the way the client looks at it. Whereas the who is about the person, how it affects the person, the client. So at PCC, it's a lot more who, without fully ignoring what. There's a good balance between what and who. But the PCC learners are trained to go deeper into the who. For example, today when I was discussing with Rekha about one of the learners who started his ACC with the first batch, 2014. He was part of the first. He took his time. He's completed 500 hours of practice now. He just completed his PCC level requirement. We have seen the last couple of months or weeks, so there's a shift in his coaching style. But I still told him when I reviewed his second recording yesterday, and I had a chat today. He said you can still do deeper who exploration. You can still do a bit of partnering. So he asked me, give me some examples, what else I can do. And so I recommended, this is what comes to me. This may not be right. So, to answer your question, there is a lot more deeper exploration of who, the art of coaching, and also deeper partnering. For, again, ACC learners here included, my golden triangle at an ACC PCC, a client-centric approach is still good enough for an ACC. But PCC and MCC, it's at a higher level of partnering. You're not giving the full freedom to the client, which is still okay at the ACC level, as long as you stick to the framework. PCC level, both coach and the client goes to a higher level of partnering. Karan, does it answer, or Rekha, anything you want to add?
I'm sorry, but I was a bit engaged in answering.
No issues. I can
chat.
Yeah.
We have few questions, Subash.
I also want to saw one question I saw, Niti's.
Yeah, so there is one question which Shruti has asked, and I have answered that question. But what I want to add on to that answer, I didn't want to type it. So I thought I'll just add on to the answer, Shruti, is if you miss on a weekday because you're simply not able to make it happen, you need to attend the classroom sessions. You need to make sure that you have at least 80% of attendance. And for the balance 20% which you miss, you need to go through the recordings and submit a report on what's your learning from that particular recording. So that much leeway is there for you to play with. We understand that it's a lengthy program and there could be situations and circumstances where it's not possible. But let me share with you, okay? My coach supervision journey was for 9 months. Started in March and ended in November. Every week we had a class for 36 weeks, 3 hours of class, and US timings, right? So when it was winter, the class would start at 9 in the night and go on till 12 midnight. And I have not missed a single class, no matter where I was and what else was going on. So like Mani was saying, right, if you choose it and if you want it, you will organize the rest of your life around it. Of course, emergencies and especially of the medical kind are something that we cannot plan for. Therefore, the leeway. Having said that, the 2 days of offline classes which are there, you need to make sure that you attend them in person or online. And if you're not able to do that, you need to make sure you attend those with the next batch. But you need to complete that because there is material that we are covering in those 2 days which we're not otherwise covering the rest of the classes. Does that help, Shruti? Okay. So, Subash, there is a question asked. Lakshmi Narayanan has asked a question. Maybe you want to take it. So he says that I saw in Regal website that the curriculum includes Eastern wisdom. A high-level answer
Yeah.
would be helpful as to what gets covered.
Yeah, so now I remember Mani asking, I think at the end of his ACC journey, what else I need to do? What else I need to deepen my practice? So, what I told him was the same thing that, you need to look at practices outside coaching framework to deepen your presence. So at PCC, Lakshmi Narayanan, as I said, I quoted Master Reynolds, it is about deepening presence. So the way I figured out is, friends here know that, my inclination towards where it is bit of spirituality, practical spirituality. I'm not into, theory of it, more of practice. So those are some of the elements that I bring in. So something from Eastern philosophy, more from Indian philosophy. Like even when you're talking about the hero's journey, which is part of the curriculum, we discuss Adi Shankara as an example, right? Not just Gautama Buddha. So what is the practice? I know we've had somebody from the current batch who was not into any spiritual practice, ACC learner. So we had a conversation. This is a classroom session. So during the lunch break, we had the session. She just scheduled a follow-up session with me, saying that what I need to do. No, I am not a spiritual teacher here, but I am going to get into a coaching conversation to help her identify what is your calling and what brings you to coaching and what do you need to do. So I always have some books which you all are familiar. We try to select something that is relevant to you personally, where you are in your life, and generally God's grace we get it right. We also recommend some practices based on our experiences. So I don't prescribe, but I share what has helped some other people. Karan knows this story. And I had a client, my first client, whom I started in 2013. I'm talking about coaching client, not coach training here, but the example is relevant. Somebody who came with a lot of problems on all aspects of life when he came to me, in debt, career, family relationships, everything was a problem. 3 years engagement, he just shifted every element of his life. But then when we met, almost after 5 years, we would catch up. He's overseas. Whenever he comes to Bangalore, we always meet up for a breakfast. So once it was not breakfast, we were at Starbucks in Phoenix Market City, Bangalore. So just saying that I've did everything, I achieved everything. Times there is still something missing in my life. What do I need to do? Now this is already out of a coaching engagement. Now, I was talking more like a friend, informal session. So I told him, knowing you are still stuck in the I, me, mine area of operation. You're still looking at what is important to you, what would help you to open your heart. Not that he was already doing my bit of charity, and my fee was paying to a girl's child who was being educated. Why I'm giving this example from a non-coach training to a coaching example is it's very personal. So we'll try to have this conversation apart from recommending and addressing. Tactically, there's one module on coaching with spiritual intelligence, which I cover. That's the reason why Rekha passed on to me. Coaching mindset is a competency. Everyone who's gone through a journey knows that we talk about coaching mindset in our very first 1 hour. So we look at what does it take to develop and nurture your coaching mindset. And for me, all this is spiritual. And I am familiar with more in Eastern spirituality than Western or Greek mythology or anything else. So I'm more comfortable talking about it. And I'm a practitioner at a very basic level. So I understand this. Yeah. Does it answer, Jail, or anything more? Yeah, thanks. Any follow-up questions, I'm happy to answer outside also one-to-one. If it is interesting. I saw Neeti's question. Can I go to PCC directly?
Yeah, that was the question I was about. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I saw that it cropped up. So both Rekha and I went for PCC directly, Neeti. And Neeti, for others, she's an INSEAD alum. So Neeti, I discovered coaching at INSEAD program. once I knew this was my calling, it was very clear for me that I'm going to do this the rest of my life. 10 years into the journey, I'm more clearer now that I'm going to continue as long as I can. So that's why, I got some great advice also from friends. I had no idea what ICF was, what coaching is at that time, till I discovered that at ICF. So then I was very clear that I'm going to do this. So it made sense to go for PCC directly. So to that extent, you can do. ICF allows you to go for PCC directly. They don't allow you to go to MCC. You have to be a PCC to start your MCC journey. The PCC, yes. Simple answer, yes. Long answer for a short question. Yeah. Any other question, Karan? Anything else? Any other comment?
No open question, I feel. Yeah, I don't think there's a question.
Yeah. So great. I mean, if there are no questions, we can, like Indigo, we can land earlier. If I thought we are coming between your dinner. So we are okay to wrap up early. We've covered most of it, and Rekha and I are going to do Sonia and Karan are here. They are the support team. So, this is the package. Take it early with kind of option. But we are committed to this journey. Happy to support every one of you if you choose to travel with us. Yes.
Sure.
Rekha, any closing remark if there are no questions?
Yeah, I mean, like Shruti talked about what if you can't come in, right? I mean, we understand if you do have your work hours are such that it overlaps with the training hours, then there is really nothing that either of us can do. So that's something I wanted to say, but Shruti has left.
So the work hours, I mean, the coaching hours are, the coaching hours are, designed in such a way after a lot of deliberation. We did one experimental batch, then second one, then, so it's very thought through ki you take a weekday and you take the 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So I mean, that's the timing as of now. And that our next batch starts 24 Jan. Global cohort again, alternate Tuesdays, 6 to 9 p.m. India timings. In case, looking forward to, see many of you. Yeah, please, Rekha.
Karan, we should also say that there is a 2-day offline classes in between. So April 29th and 30th, Saturday, Sunday will be offline, full day classes.
2-day intensive, face-to-face where all the entire PCC cohort comes together for a intense PCC session. And we have seen last time we did that and we realized the magic that happens in the offline session, as well. So we want to continue because we want to give that rigor to the program. So yeah, April 29th and 30th, as Rekha mentioned, will be a face-to-face session where every PCC coach, learner coach, will be invited to Bangalore. Details can be shared later by Sonia as well. Do we have another question, Rekha? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for coming in and asking questions and being there.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye, Rekha. Bye, Karan. Bye, Sonia. Bye-bye.